All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Art Through the Apocalypse. I'm Cable Rose. This is Let's Talk Leadership. Again, during the times we're trying to showcase and share with the world the positive things that people have been doing with their time during quarantine. We have yet another guest with us. Dr. Jeff Beard is coming from the University of Tennessee in the great state of Tennessee. Dr. Jeff Beard is a coworker and peer of mine from a past life. But we keep in touch, and we're always on the lookout for the next good possibility, next good conversation that we have. So I'm going to introduce Jeff Beard and let Jeff kind of introduce himself.
Well, hello, everyone. As Cable said, I'm Jeff Beard, and I work in industry with leadership and other organizational development. I also am an adjunct professor at the University of Tennessee, working with educational technology leadership, preparing the next generation of K-12 teachers on how to integrate technology in their classrooms. And then I am a leadership coach for the professional MBA program at the University of Tennessee. So I stay busy doing a lot of those things. And we were just having a little chat about all of that busyness has led me to not slow down enough and to take time to just enjoy the things, better things in life, and things like behind me, the trees and the birds chirping in the background.
It's
And
beautiful.
so,
I got to tell you, Jeff, it's beautiful.
So go ahead.
I was going to say, so what are you doing, Jeff? So, I mean, here we are. We know you have technology, which we're on Zoom. Of course, we're using and leveraging that technology. But what are you doing that isn't, let's say, work related or isn't? You and I have had in our history, we just love a good conversation. You and I could sit and jaw all day. And there's a lot of things that come out of those conversations and a lot of ideals that come out of it. But during this time, what have you been doing? If you can't have those conversations every day, what have you been doing to keep yourself busy?
Well, so I found that I actually do enjoy the solitude and having some alone time. And in the past, I would covet those times to kind of recharge my battery, so to speak, and would either go on a run to kind of get outside and kind of clear my head and get those endorphins flowing and all that good stuff. But then when I wasn't doing that, I like to crack open a good book.
Okay.
So I read a lot of different genres, from leadership related books to spiritual books to psychology books that talk about having a positive mindset to just fun fiction. So for me, it's everything from Harry Potter to a current series I'm reading is Aragon. It's about a little boy and his dragon.
Okay.
And he's actually heading into his teen years when he finds this egg. He doesn't know what it is, and turns out it's this dragon. So the rest of the whole thing is about battles and such that are related to the time period. And it's all fiction, but just fun stuff.
So I don't know because I haven't never seen it, but there's a TV show. What was it? It's on HBO. It's got dragons and stuff.
Game of Thrones?
Game,
No?
yeah, Game of Thrones. Is that
Well,
the one?
Well, Game of Thrones, I guess, has dragons. I read the first book. I haven't read the rest of it. I think
Okay.
the dragons are hatched out at the end of that first book and the first season. So I haven't gone past that. But
Okay, so it's in that same kind of a realm where you've got the dragons and things.
Well, and it is very similar to Game of Thrones in that you have all these different kingdoms and lords of those different kingdoms, and then a main king or overseer, and then much like the Lord of the Rings, though, you've got the elves and the dwarves and the different groups like that. So
we've had this conversation, right?
Yeah.
You like that realm, and that's the one realm I never got into. And I do sci-fi and phasers and lightsabers, and we do, but it's the same thing. I know, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing, though. It's that allure of just the imagination and how we run with it. My daughter, again, it just kind of popped in. She's reading the series. It's a 15-book series. She's on book 7 right now, called Wings of Fire, and it is each of the different types of dragons and their a fire dragon, a water dragon. And so then it's not about the people, it's about the dragons and the stories of the dragons. And she's really into that one right now. So it's just kind of fun to
check
see
that one out.
Wings of Fire. Yeah, it's a good series. It's at Barnes & Noble. You can pick it up.
But I think what that does, whether it's, if you're into sci-fi or, Middle Earth or whatever it is, you do leave the current state you're in and you relax your mind, and suddenly you don't even realize how long you've been reading or watching a movie, whatever it is,
Yep.
and you're just caught up in that. And then when you take a pause to come back to reality, you have completely left all the challenges and concerns and problems that you're dealing with in current life. So during the times we're in currently, if that whichever is your favorite, it's a great way to escape for a moment. And I think from a mental health standpoint, it's healthy because you're able to relax your mind. And as I said, for me, running on one hand does that because you're getting the physical blood flowing, and you kind of have that escape. So it's always a time for me to go relax and reflect. But then the books do the same thing because and the reason I switch, some people think this is silly, but sometimes I'm reading as many as 5 to 7 books at one time. And I'll read part of, obviously they're not all laid out in front of me at the same time,
Sure.
but but I can actually read a chapter in one, set it down, pick up another one. And some will say, "Oh, I can't do that. That's tough." But for me, it works because, I might be reading something that's more work related or academic related. And if I read something like that too late in the evening, my mind's thinking, my, brain's still working, and it's hard to shut down. So that's when I started reading, things like Harry Potter, the Hunger Games,
Yeah.
Allegiant, some of those young adult series, because you just get lost into that fantasy world, and your mind just forgets where you are, and then you relax, and then you fall asleep. And so it's kind of a calming way for me to shut down.
You,
And
well, I don't mean to interrupt, Jeff, but you made a
that's fine.
really, really powerful statement. So you were talking about the ability to sit and read that book and get away from the world around us, right? Because that's what the book is. You get lost in your imagination. And of course, I defaulted right to a movie. I went to The
Yep.
Never-Ending Story, and I think about the kid up in the
Yep.
attic, and he's getting bullied outside. He's having a not a good day, and he's looking for that release, and that book just captures him and brings him right in.
Right.
And that's a really good way to look at it, because everything that's going on, people could be caught up in it. And if you just take that minute to unplug and sit down and open that book and nothing else is there, it's just you get lost in your imagination. It's a really good point, Jeff. I appreciate that.
Well, one thing I've done is I've refused to keep the TV on and watch the news, because all the news media outlets is just continuous, COVID-19, coronavirus, Rona, whatever,
Yeah.
COVID, whatever it is,
Yep.
it's just continuous. And that is a good way to become stressed and fearful when you're hearing all these unknowns. And you hear there's a great little, you probably saw it on social media, a little video lady did, like she was doing a press conference, and she was using all the contradictions. Like, you should not go outside or go any place unless, of course, you need to go someplace. And then, and that's the kind of thing we were hearing. On one hand, we're saying, don't do it. Don't be fearful. Oh, be afraid. Everyone's going to die. And so it's just this constant stressor. So for our family, we just said, look, we're not going to watch that stuff. We would sit down and watch a movie or something together, but
Sure.
we were staying away from all of that negativity and trying to look for opportunities to be grateful, and not minimizing the seriousness, especially in some pockets of our country and the world where there was high infection rates, high
Mm-hmm.
mortality.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, we didn't face that, so we're very fortunate. But we looked at how can we leverage this in a positive way. So we found that, like I said, I was so busy in my day-to-day life that we weren't pausing to enjoy each other. We're now sitting down eating dinner together.
Yep.
We just never did those things. And then sitting down to either watch a movie. My son and I have been going and playing disc golf just to get outside. My wife works at a resort. They shut the resort down, but they allowed all the employees to come and hike on all the trails.
Oh, wow.
So we've gone out there. Oh, hey, let's take advantage of that. It's a beautiful place.
Beautiful.
So we would go out there. We've gone hiking. We've done evening walks. I started doing home improvement projects. One thing I can tell you, of all the businesses that suffered during this, Home Depot and Lowe's, I guarantee you, their profit margins have skyrocketed.
Sure.
I started building a deck project. I went back to get deck boards. They were out of deck boards. When does that ever happen?
Yeah.
I mean, they actually did finally find some in the back. They had to go out on a forklift and find a big pallet of them. But it was just crazy the number of people you would see in there, and they were all saying, hey, look, I've got to be at home. I've got to be doing something. Let's make it a proactive time. So we were just out doing our walks and drive arounds and such, and you see all these homes. You're like, well, man, look how beautiful the landscapes are looking.
That garden
You see
looks
people,
good.
yeah, gardens in the back, and decks being built. We replaced light fixtures and um, vanities in the bathroom. I mean, there's all these things that we talked about we would like to do, and just haven't had a chance to do it. And again, I want to pause and not minimize the fact that folks were out of work, filing for unemployment. I was fortunate to have jobs where, life continued, the paychecks continued, so I did not have that concern. So I don't want to minimize that, but
No, and I
we
do,
just look.
Jeff. I appreciate absolutely. And I call it art through the apocalypse. And I also, in that sense, I'm just looking for the key phrases there I can connect. You're right. High mortality rates. A lot of people displaced. Unemployment right before this was at the lowest it's ever been in American history. Now it's at the highest it's ever been.
Yeah.
And you're right. There's a lot of negative. That's where this series came from. When I ran into my friend at the store the other day and had a conversation, my brain just started spinning. It's like, I got to look at the world in a positive way. And all the people that are doing that are doing it in whatever realm that is, whether it's reading, projects, health. Again, I've got health and fitness coming on the show, movies, books, music. My daughter plays the piano. She taught herself how to play the piano, and now she's in there and she can play. And her first song she learned, she earballed the Harry Potter song, and she's learning Harry Potter. And so you're absolutely right. Nothing is to minimize what's happened in the world, but I just wanted to showcase that positivity. I wanted to say, you know what? I want to spend some time. And this actually came out of the pandemic. I didn't have a YouTube. I didn't have a channel, and I didn't have these conversations. I was in between last contract and picking up my next one. And I thought, what do I want to do with my time? And it just started to play into this. And now I'm, multiple series in. And my joy is I get to get up every day and put my shirt on and come and sit in front of a computer. Unfortunate, I can't be on your back porch with you there, Jeff, but I want to sit and have these conversations, and I hadn't had them, and I was missing out on them. And so I found a new avenue and a new venue to be able to have these. And it's been one of the best times I've had in years, is just the creativity that you, like you said, you just start to flow with that creativity.
Yeah.
I got Stranger Things vinyl record back here spinning on the album. And every day I can put a new record on, have a new conversation, and get to share a little bit of the world that's going on. So that's really where this came from.
Well, if you remember, we would share a video by Sean Anchor in our classroom. And Sean talks about the happiness advantage.
Yep.
And so each year I challenge people to do the challenge that he frequently challenges folks to, and that's to start off every day and do at least a 21-day challenge. And there's no science behind 21 days or whatever. But as you know, in military and in sports training, 10,000 reps or somewhere around that, it's repetition leads to, being skillful at something and change, right? Changing a behavior. And so what he suggests is that start off with at least 21 days of finding 3 unique things each day that you're grateful for. And it could be, hey, I'm grateful for bottled water. I'm grateful for coffee. Or it could be something, family time. It's up to you what those 3 things are. And then to relive and reflect back over the last 24 hours and find a positive experience that stands out to you. It could be someone holding the door for you or saying thank you, whatever it may be. And then to follow through with sending folks either, well, hopefully a face-to-face when possible, or a phone call to tell them, hey, I appreciate you, thank you, an email, an instant message, whatever, that just follow through with that. Because so often we don't tell folks, hey, I really appreciate you doing that. I appreciate what you do for us. So it's flipping to have a more attitude of gratitude, I call it, more of a positive mindset. So in a situation like this, you can look and say, okay, I could get down and focus on the negatives, or I could say, wait a minute, this is an opportunity, for me to fill in the blank, whatever it may be. I've been wanting to write a book, or I've been wanting to read a book. I just haven't had time. And for me, obviously, that's a passion of mine. I read, a lot, but it's allowed me to share that passion with others. I didn't know why, but have you seen the little free libraries that are around?
Yeah, we got 2 in our neighborhood.
Okay, so I always thought those were cool, and I participated in some. And so my wife, for my birthday this year, she ordered me one. So from the company built it. So I've got my own charter now. I've got it up in front of my house. So I started working on making it very inviting. I've got pavers, I've got grass growing out there, I've got a little bench, and we're at a dead end. And so folks initially go, why are you going to put one in a dead end? Well, we've got a little pathway people will walk down to go to the next street over. But folks would walk down to the end. I've noticed them in the past, they'd walk down, hit the dead end, and walk back. So I was like, you know what? They'll build it, then they will come. So because I'm registered with Little Free Library, I'm on the map. So you can search it a variety of ways, but you can pull up Maryville, right there it is on the map. So it's been fun during this time being able to share my passion with having books and watching all these families that can't go to bookstores, they can't go to libraries, but they can go to my Little Free Library and get them a book. Well, I've got this little guy, my best customer. He's a little guy named Noah. He's probably about 3 or 4 years old.
Okay.
So Noah comes down with his mom, and he's all excited. And so I was so disappointed there for a while because I had ran out of books for his age,
Oh.
And he's up there looking, going, I can't do nothing with Game of Thrones or Twilight or whatever. So I drove around just recently and found one of our elementary schools had their Little Free Library full of books. So I pulled those up, shoved them in there. And so there's ways like that you're able to follow through with something you wanted to do and thought about doing. And then now, hey, I get a chance to put that together and offer something, for others and let them share something that I enjoy as well.
Well, Jeff, I got to tell you, it's been quite a while since you and I have jibbed and jabbed and jawed here. I think the last time we got together, there was a baseball game. We caught a game here locally, and that's probably been way too long.
Yeah, I know.
But I forgot just how passionate and how powerful you are in regards to the way you see the world. You can see it from, again, everybody has their own perspective, but the way you see it is, okay, let's take an opportunity here and let's make something out of it. Even the library, I think that's a very cool thing. And then the fact that Noah is part of your world. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
Noah's part of your world, and you went out of your way to go find a stack of books from Noah. I think that's just a great positive impact to planet Earth is Dr. Jeff Beard. I think it's a really cool time. And man, I got to tell you, I miss you, man. I miss having you around. I miss our weekly conversations. And it's unfortunate that I have not been able to pick your brain, but I foresee us in the future being able to do this on a more regular basis.
Absolutely.
But Jeff, I appreciate you coming. Is there anything you'd like to say, or is there anything you need to let us know before we go?
No, nothing really to add other than, stay positive and look for those opportunities that you can find to help other folks find their positive opportunities as well.
I can't say it any better. I mean, truly, it was just a blast to have you on. To everybody out there in TV land, I appreciate y'all coming to another Art of the Apocalypse and seeing kind of what else we're getting into. But Dr. Jeff Beard, with his passion for reading and his passion for books, we appreciate you being here. And to everybody else on the show, we'll catch you guys on the flip flop.